So many people I know really want to help others heal, whether it's professionally as a coach or a healer, or just, a toxic family member, or just a family member that's struggling. This is a very good and positive intention to have, but we've been trained for so many years incorrectly. And so the way we tend to go about this can mess ourselves up more and them as well. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what you want to do and where you want to focus in order to help somebody else get better. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have a free energy clearing in the description below if you need a little help clearing some of your, stuff, blocks, traumas, subconscious limiting beliefs, etc. Okay. So if you're anything like me, when I first started on my healing journey, I thought I had struck gold, and I immediately wanted to run around and tell everybody what it was that I was learning and basically what they needed to do to get better themselves, even though I wasn't really there yet. Now, there wasn't really much intentional arrogance in this. I was very earnest. I felt that I had found some things that could really benefit them, and I wanted them to know about it. I didn't really know too much about boundaries and some of the things I'm going to be talking about in this video. Now, one of the hangups I see for so many of my clients is this desire to help others change. And so many of them, and this happened to me for many years, get stuck in these subconscious entanglements with people that are not getting better. And what it does is it keeps them from getting better. So how do we actually help somebody else? The first step to this is a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true, and it's you have to let go. It's understanding that you actually don't really have any power to make them change, not through force and not through will anyway. You cannot impose your will upon them and make them do anything. And what's more important is the more that you do this, whether it's outward or subconsciously, the more you shut them down and the more they become blocked. It just does not work. You have to see that every soul has their own free will, and every soul on some level has their own connection to source. And that is what will heal them. In the end, that is what will heal them. That doesn't mean you don't play any kind of a role in it. I'm going to get to what kind of a role toward the end of the video. But they need to access their power. They need to make their own choices. Now, it's very possible that you're dealing with someone who isn't going to get it in this life even. This is a harsh reality of certain cases where people are not doing the work. They're too traumatized. They don't want to. Their soul's checked out. And that's just a recipe for disaster for you, because again, you don't have the power to make them align. You don't have the power to make them wake up, and all you're going to be doing is wasting your energy and bringing yourself further and further down. Now, some people may not, but it helps to know this. On a long enough timeline, we're all okay. They might not get it this life, but at some point they'll get it. At some point they can get it. And this is one of the tricks. The more you believe in them and let them go because you believe in them, the more you're helping them. You're sending them the message that they have the power somewhere within themselves. So the first step is letting go, and particularly of your attachment to any outcome, your attachment to assisting them in any way, your attachment to what happens with them. That's their path, not yours. Your part is to look at the sadness that comes up within you when you accept that fact, the frustration, the anger, the fear, the loneliness. Those are all things that we tend to avoid by trying to help other people because we don't want to feel that stuff. That's where your power is. And that can be uncomfortable, but that's how you heal. The next thing I want to talk about is how energy works, which I kind of got into a little bit already. We are mirrors. of each other, and we function as such. So one of the problems with humanity is there's a lot of spiritual information out there. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's everywhere you look. But the vast majority of this information, and I'm guilty of this too, we all are, is mostly just intellectual. People have actualized and realized these things in different levels. Most people, hardly at all. And I'm a master of understanding that intellectual understanding is like one tiny notch above being completely useless. It's a little bit useful because you have an awareness of something, and an awareness of something is what begins the healing process. But intellectually understanding something is so much different from realizing something. So an actualization of something is when you integrate it into your emotions, your emotional reactions, your nervous system reactions, and on even a deeper level, it's like this mind, body, soul, behavioral, action-based totality of understanding. Okay? Most of us are split into, pieces in various ways. Most of humanity's thoughts and emotions are 100% disconnected, which is why we're in so much trauma. You have the mental body, the emotional body, and they're doing two different things all the time. They should be in sync. And that's the mind and body connection too, because the body's kind of like emotional, is where the emotions are, and then the head is the thoughts. And so if you're connected to your emotions, your thoughts and your emotions, your mind and your body are connected, and that's when you have more of a visceral breakthrough and an understanding of these concepts. Okay, so but what happens is, as mirrors, going back to the original point, we just copy what other people are. So someone might be in the habit of telling you, to have compassion for other people, but they don't have compassion for themselves or other people very well. They'll tell you all the time to have compassion with lots of anger and judgment. So what you will copy, if that's a parent or a guiding figure in your life as a child, is that exact pattern. You will copy how to tell other people how to have compassion whilst being angry and judgmental. That's how things work. So if you're wanting to help somebody heal, you have to be the example of that on all levels. The more you see them as sick, the more you contribute to them staying that way. The more you see them as weak, or the more you pity them, the more you're sending them the vibrational message of a lower frequency state of consciousness, which is the state of consciousness they're already in. You're not helping get them out of anything. You're helping them to stay where they are, because you're basically reaffirming the reality that they're in. And that tends, if not, it's always because some part of us doesn't fully believe we can heal. When you come through things and you know your own power, you will begin to believe in others. So the way you want to help them is by having full belief in their ability to heal themselves and full belief in your ability to do it for yourself. A lot of us get hung up in feeling like we can't heal because others are sick. We can't have money because other people don't have money. That is the opposite of helping any of them. I'm reading this book now called The Science of Getting Rich, and this guy talks about how poor people or people who are poor, don't have money, or are impoverished, don't need charity, which doesn't mean you never give anyone any money to help them. But he says they don't need charity. What they need is inspiration. Because say somebody doesn't have any money and you give them, $1,000, but they're not doing anything to make money. They're not doing anything to bring themselves into an empowered state. They just take the $1,000, and even if they, it's an unhoused person, I guess we have to call it that. An unhoused person doesn't use it on drugs. They use it on food, but they don't take any steps forward whatsoever. They're in after the $1,000. They're still there. Now, if somebody's taking action to better themselves, you want to invest in what they're doing or give them money or whatever. But the point is, they need to find within themselves to believe there's something better for them. And the way you help others is to be an example of that, which means It is your job to be abundant. In order to be of service to other people, it is your job to be abundant in every single way, because abundance isn't just one area. It's not you're abundant in spirit, but you're broke as fuck as a human being, because you can't be abundant fully in spirit when your body's in survival mode because you don't know if you're going to be able to eat. You can't be abundant in money if you're only focused on money and you have no connection to spirit whatsoever. You're not coming from a place of compassion. You're not looking for win-win situations. You're still believing that in order for you to win, someone else has to lose. That's not abundant either. Abundance is abundance. Abundance is everything. Abundance is all levels: mind, body, spirit, etc. Being abundant in love, being abundant in compassion, being abundant in health and vitality, being abundant in material things as well. It's all connected. So if you want to help other people, that's your goal. Okay? Now, know this. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to be an example of never getting upset or angry or fearful or any of those things. That doesn't exist. That's not how you help anyone. You help people by modeling what it is to be an empowered human being. And human beings go through fear. They go through anger and frustration. It's not that you don't feel these things, it's how you handle them. And you don't have to handle them perfectly. Been reading this book called Daring to Lead by Brene Brown, and she talks about how there is no courage does not exist without vulnerability. In order to have courage, you have to be vulnerable, which means fears, suffering on some level, negative emotions is just part of the human experience. So don't create this bar for yourself where in order to be an example, you have to be perfect. No, in order to be an example, you have to be human and you have to embrace it. It's really just about accepting things as they are and doing the best that you can with them, even if it's not a very good job for a while. Okay? It's your job to be abundant. The most powerful thing you can do is to shine. It's to shine and inspire. It's to solve your own puzzle and crawl out of the hole that you dug, when your soul signed up to go into the dark and to come out into the light. As a child, you were innocent. As a child, you didn't do anything wrong. But on a soul level, we choose to go down and up, in and out. We learn through opposites. There would be no self-love if there weren't people that didn't try to test the self-love and treat you like shit. It's like a gym to work out these various muscles, these spiritual muscles within yourself. So the brighter you can shine, the more you can give yourself permission to shine, people will notice. And that will inspire them. They'll be like, what did you do? What is it that you have? I want that. You don't need to say anything to them. And if you don't fully believe me, think about the people that you've looked up to the most in your life. For me, it's usually been people that are just so inspiring because they come through and they model like how to be successful. For me, it's usually like really kind of artists with the spiritual connection, because they're these creator beings that just offer these gifts to the world that, have helped me in such dark places. And I've always been like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that. If they'd just been like, oh, poor baby, you're sick all the time, they wouldn't have been making, their art. There's something about the frequency of awe that creates inspiration that drives people to their own healing. So it's kind of a combination of all those things. It's hard with family members. I know, like I said, some of them are not going to get better. Some of them will. But the more your energy shifts and raises, the more they kind of subconsciously can copy and download and model from that. But all you need to focus on is you. From a loving place. And that will help others heal. So let me know how this goes. Thank you so much for watching this video. I always deeply appreciate everybody who watches my videos. If you have any questions, let me know. Comments, revelations, breakthroughs. Other than that, I look forward to next time, and thank you so much. Bye bye.